How much would you bet that the price of eggs will go up over the next 30 days? What about whether Donald Trump will call out Sleepy Joe in his next speech? Or who will win the House in the midterms? Thousands of Americans are doing just this every day on a new kind of financial exchange, called a prediction market. It's America's latest money-making craze. And this exciting new market is growing faster than the AI stocks dominating today's headlines. Last year, $64 billion traded on prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket. Soon, that's expected to balloon to $1.3 trillion a year, a 2,000% increase. That means that soon, twice as much money will be flowing through prediction markets as the size of the robotics industry, America's electric vehicle industry, and even the red-hot AI market combined. Already, some Americans are pulling in thousands of dollars every single day on these platforms. These are real people wagering real money on real-world outcomes. Like Logan S. in Atlanta, who quit his $75,000 a year job when he made his yearly salary in a month. Or Evan S., who left one of the highest-paid jobs in finance after he started pulling in six figures every month. And Bill D., who made $1 million in 2025 alone. Over 5.1 million people are rushing to get into this new market and treating it like an online casino. But the truth is, prediction markets are far more valuable than just gambling. Today, a leading prediction market insider is going to share a secret few insiders ever will. For the first time ever, Luke Lango, the Caltech grad ranked the #1 financial expert in America in 2020, will show you how to really make money in prediction markets. Luke built his fortune through an uncanny ability to predict tomorrow today. Whether that's helping pro sports teams like the Philadelphia 76ers find draft picks before they've ever played a professional game, calling the rise of Palantir, AMD, and Nvidia before they were household names, or any of the 41 opportunities he's shared with his followers, allowing them to 10 times their money or more. As you'll see today, Luke's predictions aren't just luck. There is a method that's led him to these big winners. Today, Luke is live with his next 10x prediction. You can get started with as little as $100. You don't need a Kalshi account, you don't need to understand odds, and you don't even need to place a single bet. Because what you're about to see actually has nothing to do with gambling. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big welcome to Senior Tech and Markets Expert at Investor Place and Venture Capital Industry Insider, Mr. Luke Lango.
$3.7 billion. That's how much was riding on a single question back in November of 2024. And that question was, who would be the next president of America? Now, at the time, every media outlet in the world had an opinion on the matter, though most of them said the race was too close to call. But anyone who got the answer to that question right could have taken a chunk of that $3.7 billion home with them. Now, I'll tell you this, for myself, sitting in Arizona, 2,300 some miles away from Washington, I knew who was going to win well before the polls closed. How, you may ask? Well, that is the secret that I'm going to share with you today. And it's the same secret that is causing prediction markets to disrupt multi-trillion-dollar industries as we speak. Because as you're about to see, prediction markets, they're so much more than just gambling. And Wall Street is actually banging at the doors to get in. Investors like the legendary Peter Thiel are already paying as much as $70 million to stake their claim in these markets. Now, you might think that's kind of crazy, especially if you ever opened any of these prediction sites and seen people making money on the wildest and sometimes silliest of things. I mean, how many tweets is Elon going to send this month? Well, the US government confirmed that aliens exist. I mean, there's even a $63 million bet riding on whether Jesus Christ himself will return by the end of the year. Now, it might sound crazy, and yes, it is crazy, but there's actually a way that you could get a huge amount of the enormous money flowing directly into your pockets from these crazy bets without making a single bet yourself. You see, I've been working in and around these prediction markets for more than a decade now. I mean, at Caltech, the university that's produced 44 Nobel Prize winners, I was personally recruited by Fred Clare, the former general manager of the Dodgers when they won the World Series back in the 1980s. Now, he asked me to help him build a prediction analytics startup called Scoutables, which attracted attention and pre-seed funding from Bill Gross's legendary Idea Lab, which, keep in mind, was the same VC firm that has backed startups acquired by Ticketmaster, Google, and Yahoo. Well, we started by building advanced AI-integrated prediction models for fantasy sports leagues, more or less an early version of today's prediction markets like Kalshi. We built these machine learning models to predict which players would succeed before they ever played a professional game. But our models actually proved so good that we quickly moved into real professional sports and started pitching MLB teams to use our models to help manage their multi-million-dollar payrolls and the player injury risk associated with them. Now, it was a really, really cool business, and I proved very integral in driving it forward because even before I started doing that work, I was helping the Philadelphia 76ers, the NBA team, make analytics models to help them analyze incoming NBA draft prospects, working directly with their head of analytics, Aaron Barzilai himself. So in short, you could say that I built my career in a world where you could be wildly rewarded for correctly answering one question. What's going to happen next? Now from there, I turned this expertise to the stock market, predicting the rise of cloud computing, the backbone for today's AI data centers, back in 2017, and recommended chip supplier Micron, which has soared as much as 3,300% since then. In 2018, I predicted the rise of mobile advertising and recommended Trade Desk. It's rocketed more than 1,400% higher. And in 2019, I recommended a little company, you may have heard of it, called GameStop, before the meme stock trend blasted up more than 12,000%. Now, let me stop there, because you got to ask, is GameStop a great company? Debatable. Some would say yes, some would say no. But what is not debatable is that the meme stock investing trend was so powerful that anyone who bought on my advice could have turned a small $1,000 investment into over $100,000. And while most people might think that I just, got lucky, I actually predicted these trades, these trends, these picks, thanks to a repeatable system that I'm going to explain to you shortly. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not telling you all this to brag about my past wins. No, I'm trying to show you the truly unique power of an unstoppable investing trend. And that's why I'm here today. To show you how to set yourself up to profit from what is the hottest investing trend in America. Now look, the reason I'm telling you about these prediction markets isn't because I want you to go out and put money on them directly. This is not about gambling. Instead, there's a way to capitalize on the billions of dollars flowing through these markets without ever betting in them yourself. That's what the serious investors are actually doing today. They aren't playing the prediction markets, they're investing in them. And it's a far larger opportunity than any single bet that you could make. So, if you missed out on crypto, if you missed out on the 30x gains as companies like NVIDIA rode the AI boom, you know how rare, huge money-making opportunities like this actually are, and how easy it is to let them slip by you. But unlike AI and unlike crypto, where there were tons of horses in the race, today I see only one clear winner in the prediction markets. Now, it's a fact that I confirmed for myself at a $5,000 per ticket exclusive meeting of tech insiders not too long ago that included folks like Elon Musk and the AI czar of the United States himself. Now, I'm going to share that full story with you in a moment, but first, I need to show you the kind of money that you can make when one company, one single company, dominates an exponentially growing trend. So think about eBay. the only real player in the online auction space in 1998. It helped early investors see gains of over 15,000% at its peak. How about Google? They singularly dominated online search, often with over 90% market share. And after the IPO, Google's stock rocketed almost 16,000% higher. Netflix, great example. They destroyed traditional video rental businesses like Blockbuster. They dominated the streaming world. And guess what? The stock soared over 100,000% as a result. And that's enough to turn a small $2,000 stake into well over $2 million. $2,000 into over $2 million. Well, today, folks, I'm bringing you the same type of opportunity. If you want the potential to make more money than you imagine possible, please circle Tuesday, October 13th on your calendar. Because I've uncovered the one company that I believe is set to dominate the prediction markets. And that date is right at the center of it all. Now, before I show you the company, I want to show you why I am so confident about this. Because you see, I've watched this story play out twice already. Now, the first time was in 2019. And I told the people who follow my work that it was time to get into a little thing called artificial intelligence. Now, at the time, believe it or not, it was the exact opposite of what Bloomberg was saying. Business Insider called AI a hype cycle at the time. But while they were writing those hit pieces against AI, I was watching the smart money. And I noticed that institutional investment in AI was climbing from a paltry $3 billion at the time toward $200 billion. And the people who followed my work, not Business Insider, but my work, had the chance to make 355% returns in a little stock called Twilio, or 881% returns in Billy. And how about 3,825% returns in Tesla? But just like today, there was one single clear winner in AI. Now, of course, I'm talking about NVIDIA, right? The mothership of the AI boom. Well, I recommended that company all the way back then at a split adjusted price of just $3.77. And since that call, NVIDIA has gone up as much as 6,174%. Now that's enough to turn $1,000 into over $60,000. Pretty crazy stuff. Now, the second time this happened was in 2020. That year, I recommended a little thing called Bitcoin to my followers. Now, headlines at the time, they looked like this: I won't buy Bitcoin and you shouldn't either. Or the bubble's about to burst. And Goldman Sachs, the same firm who's about to become very important to today's story actually, published an official report listing 5 reasons that Bitcoin was not an asset class and not a suitable investment. Within a year, though, Goldman opened their own crypto trading desk. And anyone who acted on their report instead of following where they actually put their money missed the 1,150% run that I found for my followers. Now, again, I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this because right now, in this very moment, I'm seeing similar headlines about prediction markets. They're calling them rigged. They're talking about their dangerous power. And yet again, behind the scenes, there's massive, ungodly amounts of institutional money that's moving into the space. I mean, again, Peter Thiel, the billionaire investor behind PayPal, Facebook, and SpaceX, was one of the first to move some of his fortune there. Intercontinental Exchange, the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange, just put $2 billion into it. firms like Sequoia Capital and Andreessen Horowitz, they doubled the valuation of Kalshi in just 2 months. A double in 2 months. Even the president, our president, is looking to get in. And his son, Donald Trump Jr., now holds advisory roles at both Polymarket and Kalshi. Now, typically, this ends with most of the gains gone before any regular investors can get in. But on October 13th, I believe Goldman Sachs is going to make a big announcement about the prediction markets. And when they do, I expect the company that I'm going to show you today to start a 10x run, conservatively speaking. Now, I get it. That's a pretty big, pretty bold, pretty audacious claim. So let me prove it to you, point by point. You see, prediction markets, they are the world's fastest growing market. And yes, that means they are growing faster than AI, which has tripled its user base over the last 6 years and minted 2 million new millionaires just last year as a result. Prediction markets are also growing faster than crypto, which has grown 40-fold in trading volume over the last 9 years. CNBC reports crypto is responsible for 240,000 new millionaires. But with prediction markets, folks, we're looking at something far faster. We're looking at 130 times growth in trading volume in 1 year alone. 12 months, 130-fold growth. It is absolutely astounding. And I believe that this unprecedented growth, it's going to create a whole new class of millionaires of its own. So the question, of course, is what's driving it? What's driving this massive growth in prediction markets? Well, I think the key thing to understand here about prediction markets is what prediction markets are actually replacing. Because, of course, they're replacing traditional gambling, like what we're used to seeing in Las Vegas Sportsbook or online on sites like DraftKings, right? Gambling has been one of the fastest growing markets in America since online gambling went legal in 2018. It's expected to become a $655 billion market by the end of this year, nearly doubling in the years since the pandemic. But prediction markets are growing orders of magnitude faster, and the traditional gambling companies are starting to buckle under the pressure. Now, when Kalshi launched Kalshi Combos, a feature that lets users bet on a series of outcomes for a higher potential return, similar to a sports betting parlay, if you will, the market sent a very clear message. DraftKings stock, it collapsed, evaporating $2.5 billion in market value overnight. Gaming company Flutter, owner of FanDuel, collapsed after the announcement too, taking roughly $30 billion with it. And that, well, that's just the start. You see, in January alone, Kalshi's app saw more than double the downloads of two of the largest pure gambling platforms combined. On Super Bowl Sunday, the biggest betting day of the year, prediction markets accounted for 80% of all betting on the Super Bowl, with $871 million of bets placed. Now, right now, folks, prediction markets, they're worth about $64 billion. That makes them bigger than household names like Allstate, Ford, and eBay. But at the pace that things are going, it's not going to be long before prediction markets are the lead players in the gambling game. I mean, even capturing 10% of the $655 billion gambling market would double the value of prediction markets. But still, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You see, right now, most people see prediction markets as gambling, and maybe that's true for 99% of the people who do interact with them. But to me, and frankly to most of Wall Street, we see a far bigger opportunity. As I'm about to show you, prediction markets are disrupting other markets worth trillions of dollars. I mean, Kalshi's co-founder says prediction markets could be bigger than the stock market in the next few years. And that's because prediction markets have astounding utility beyond gambling. And the company that I'm here to share with you today, that's the company at the center of it all. You see, thanks to a bizarre phenomenon that I'm going to demonstrate in a moment, when a lot of people are being very honest about what they think is going to happen, we can actually get an incredibly accurate prediction of the future. And to demonstrate this, let me ask you a question. Did you know who Trump would nominate for the Fed chair before it happened? Because that was one of the biggest questions on the financial news all year long. This January, the pundits had Rick Ryder as a clear winner. Barron's called him Trump's Goldilocks candidate, and Investors.com went so far as to introduce him as Trump's next Fed chair. But if those outlets had simply looked at the prediction markets instead, they could have known the answer far earlier. See, here was the actual bet on Kalshi. Now, bettors had the correct choice pegged as far back as May of 2025. Now, you might say that's just a lucky guess, but prediction markets have this incredibly accurate track record of being spot on about the future. I mean, let's talk about the Oscars, for instance. Prediction markets correctly called 19 of the 24 winners, rivaling the LA Times, the editors at the Gold Derby, and the entertainment experts at Variety. And that's why Wall Street is pouring money into the best tool we have for seeing around the corner. I mean, as Nobel Prize winning physicist Niels Bohr put it, prediction is very difficult, especially if it's about the future. So, I mean, you gotta ask, how do a bunch of so-called gamblers know as much as the top experts in any given field? Well, it all comes down to a bizarre phenomenon called the wisdom of the crowds. Now, the best known example comes from a county fair in Plymouth, England in 1907. 787 fairgoers were asked a very simple question. How much does this ox weigh? Now, no single person of the 787 guessed the weight correctly, but shockingly, the average of every answer was accurate to within a single pound. Now, the wisdom of the crowds is the same principle that prediction markets operate on. It's how they predicted the Fed chair when major news sources were calling for the wrong candidate. And it's how I knew who would win the presidential election before the votes were tallied. In fact, in the early 20th century, a former prediction market predicted that U.S. elections for decades with nearly 100% accuracy. And that's why prediction markets are more than just a new way to gamble. They're a powerful force that is disrupting multi-trillion-dollar industries as we speak. Now, here's what this looks like in practice. How many Teslas do you think will be delivered this quarter? Just take a guess. Now, in Q1, that number was 358,023, and prediction markets, they absolutely nailed it. Now, of course, that might not matter much to you, but it matters a whole lot to a company like Tesla. I mean, stock prices rise and fall on that kind of information. Companies with accurate sales forecasting are twice as likely to be at the top of their field. And that's why, according to sales analytics platform MoData, 37% of the sales management's time is spent forecasting. Well, guess what? Prediction markets offer a way for companies to get much more accurate forecasting with much less work. Now, some of the biggest companies in the world, like Alphabet, Best Buy, and Microsoft, they've used them to pad their profits for decades. Let's look at Best Buy. Back in 2005, an executive named Jeff S. started using prediction markets for key business metrics, things like how much they'd sell on Black Friday. And Best Buy's prediction market was 70 times more accurate than their expert forecasters. And an edge like that can be the difference between becoming the largest company in your class, like Best Buy, or going bankrupt, which is exactly what happened to their competitor. Remember Circuit City? Bad inventory management led to them going bankrupt in the great financial crisis. Meanwhile, Best Buy went on to triple in value. But the opportunity that I'm here to share with you today, it's far larger than any individual stock or individual company, because soon every company in the world will be looking at prediction markets for forecasting. Because if they don't, they're going to get left behind. And today, I want to show you a way to profit off of this huge inflow of cash without guessing, without gambling. But first, there's actually an even bigger disruption going on that you need to know about. One that ties directly to our opportunity today. And that is the $42 trillion industry being disrupted by prediction markets as we speak. Now, fittingly, it's an industry that, just like gambling, thrives on risk. So, a Spanish soccer team recently stirred controversy by taking out a $7 million insurance policy against the financial hit they'd take if they got kicked to a lower tier league. Now, what was controversial wasn't that they were looking for insurance in the first place. Moves like this are par for the course for sports teams. Now, the issue was that this insurance was secured on Kalshi, instead of at Lloyd's of London, where sports insurance policies are their bread and butter. Now, some news sources are predicting a future where prediction markets dominate the insurance market. Consider that right now, 4 out of 10 American adults carry credit card debt. And it's not because they're going on irresponsible spending sprees, but because they just can't afford their bills right now. I mean, even before the Iran war drove gas over $4 a gallon, many Americans were unable to pay their monthly credit card bills at the end of the month. Now, today's traders, they aren't just looking to the prediction markets for entertainment. They're looking for tools to counter the uncertainty surrounding their household budgets, the health of their businesses, and the stocks they invest in. And that's why the biggest trading events have nothing to do with sports or with gambling. They have to do with countering risk. So the 24 hours around the announcement of the Iran conflict created more trading volume than any sports event of the year. When Kevin Warsh was nominated to head the Fed, trading activity on Kalshi and Polymarket, it absolutely surged. Now, among frequent multi-market traders, the volume spike actually dwarfed that of the Super Bowl, where again 80% of the bets were handled on prediction markets. Now, more than ever, traders are looking to take out insurance on their future. Quant firm Wintermute recently wrote about how prediction markets are quickly evolving into legitimate financial tools to hedge risk. And today, you're going to discover how to get in on the ground floor as prediction markets disrupt this $42 trillion market. I mean, I have no doubt the company that I'm talking about, it is going to be like the eBay or the Amazon or the Nvidia of prediction markets. And I don't think it's a stretch to say that it could make you 10 times or even more your money in the years ahead. But again, I'm not asking you to gamble on the future here. You see, in April, trading on Polymarket and Kalshi topped $25 billion for the first time. That's a climb of 1,200% from May of last year. And that number, it only keeps going up as the smart money pushes these markets towards $1.3 trillion. There is a way that you could benefit from every trade they make. You see, everything changed on April 27th, because that was the day that prediction markets stopped being a retail investor's game and became a serious tool for the smart money. Because on that day, one of the largest prediction markets, Kalshi, made a special trade for the first time, designed specifically, not for you, not for me, but for a hedge fund out of Houston. Now, the fund was looking to counter risk on carbon futures with a prediction bet, a bet that involved a huge amount of money. Now, this trade, it opened a new way to profit from prediction markets without playing the market. Let me explain. A large institutional trade like this, it can drastically move the market, right? And that's why Kalshi employed another company to act as something called a market maker. So essentially, they paid this company to take the other side of the trade. It didn't matter how it turned out, good or bad. This other firm got paid just for being there to help make the market possible. This is essentially what I'm here to show you how to do. And that means it doesn't matter who is trading, whether it's gamblers, whether it's retail investors, whether it's big old hedge funds. By investing the way you're about to see, you can bypass the risk of trading on a prediction market and see real potential for enormous profits just from the fact that people are using these markets. And the most important thing to remember is that soon, $1.3 trillion is poised to run through these markets. And whether you like prediction markets or not, the truth is they're here to stay. They're here for the long run. I mean, institutional investing in prediction markets is already soaring, up 800% in the first half of 2026 alone. I mean, that's your sign that the next phase of the prediction market boom is starting now, which is why I want to take a moment to double check that you have October 13th circled on your calendar. I mean, for those of you watching at home, I'm being serious. As soon as this presentation is over, grab a marker or put it in your calendar on your phone. However you organize your life, make sure you do not miss out. Because that is the day that I believe Wall Street itself will officially enter the prediction markets in a big way. You see, folks, DRW, a fund worth over $7 billion, is looking to pay up to $200,000 for a prediction markets trader. Options trading firm Susquehanna, who manages nearly $1 trillion, is on the hunt for traders to identify unusual behaviors on prediction markets. Ed Hindi, the chief investment officer of crypto giant Tier Holdings, says, "We are extremely bullish on prediction markets." Now, Tier is also in the process of hiring a prediction market trader right now. The list of firms looking to get into prediction markets, it's absolutely enormous. New York-based trading startups Kieran and Anti-Capital, Chicago-based crypto investors Fermion and Swiss trading group G20 Advisors. I mean, I could go on and on. The point is, we're looking at a tinderbox that's just waiting to ignite. I mean, prediction markets, like we said, currently $64 billion market, but that $64 billion market is expected to soon rise to $1.3 trillion. $64 billion, $1.3 trillion. That's a 20-fold increase just waiting in the wings. But there's one firm, one single firm that I believe will light the fuse on this market, unleashing this torrent of smart money into the prediction markets. And that firm is none other than Goldman Sachs. Because, folks, it's as simple as this. Where Goldman goes, Wall Street follows. And today, we have the rare chance to get in ahead of them. Now, I'll show you how to get started in just a moment. But first, I want to emphasize the most important detail here. You're going to have to act fast because the next wave of institutional investing in prediction markets could come any moment now. You see, back in 2021, a leaked internal memo revealed Goldman Sachs' new crypto trading desk. Now, this memo heralded a wave of institutional investment, and I don't think I need to tell you what happened to crypto after that. Now, my research right now shows that Goldman Sachs is gearing up to launch a trading desk specifically for prediction markets. The company's CEO, David Solomon, has had personal meetings with the leaders of all major prediction markets. Goldman currently has a team analyzing the best way to get in, and they're actively building out AI to analyze prediction markets. But the biggest smoking gun here is that Goldman has already secured the regulatory approval needed, meaning they have everything that they need to swiftly and decisively enter the prediction markets at a moment's notice. Now, of course, only Goldman Sachs knows if and exactly when they'll announce a prediction market trading desk. But my research is pointing to October 13th. So I highly, highly recommend that you take your position before that happens. Because if you wait until it's on the front pages of the Wall Street Journal, this lightning fast new market could soar higher than it ever has, and you will miss out on the chance to make the biggest gains possible, which is why I'm encouraging everyone listening today to act on this opportunity now. You see, I recently attended a private event filled with Silicon Valley insiders in California. Many of the smartest and most successful people in the world were in attendance. I mean, the former AI czar of the United States was there, David Sachs, some billionaire venture capitalists were there too. Even Elon Musk was on the guest list. Now, I was lucky enough to be there, and while I witnessed something truly incredible. Despite all of the inspirational talents in the room, people were fighting to be close to just one man. Now, this man, he's a true relentless innovator, and he's the founder of my next 10x opportunity. Because as institutional investing rockets prediction markets to $1.3 trillion, his company is poised to become the main player, the epicenter of the boom. Now, it's a newcomer to the prediction markets world, but they're already taking it by storm. They've recently paired up with Susquehanna to provide prediction market service to their 27 million users. That's over 5 times the user base of Kalshi, the biggest name people think of when they hear prediction markets. The company currently offers premium users a more attractive fee structure than Kalshi, and by far, which means they could capture more and more serious traders like the Wall Street smart money as these markets grow at lightning pace. And it also means that if you own this company, you stand to benefit from every single trade that passes through them. And that really is the key here. You see, you are not playing the markets. You are getting the chance to profit from the people who are. And I see this as a real winner-takes-all opportunity. Now, will this company capture 100% of the $1.3 trillion prediction market? No. Thankfully, we live in a country with a free market, and there will always be competitors. That's a good thing, just like eBay competed with iBazaar.com, but chances are you don't remember that name because eBay became so dominant, they just bought them. Or Google, I mean, they did for a moment in time compete with Yahoo, right? But they hold on to 90% market share, whereas Yahoo's at 1.4%. Now, that's the power of a company that is this dominant in a field that is growing this quickly. I mean, even losing 10% market share to competitors as prediction markets grow would mean over $1 trillion were flowing through this single company. And the best thing is, this company, it's got a hyper-scalable business model. I mean, they have essentially zero overhead costs when it comes to adding new users. We could easily be talking about more than 10xing the company's profits as revenues explode. Now, right now, it trades at over 30 times profits, meaning this could eventually grow to be a 300-fold opportunity. But I think in the near term, thinking over the next few years, capturing 10 times gains is a nice conservative estimate from this name. And that's why I just put all the details of this one company that stands to profit most from the opportunity inside a special report called 10x Profits in the world's fastest growing market. Now inside, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do with the ticker symbol and name of a single company that is poised to capture the lion's share of what could soon be $1 trillion market, a company with real 10-fold potential. And you can get started with as little as $100. Now, you're going to get the chance to claim a copy of this report by the end of this talk. But first, I am obligated to tell you that there is a serious dark side to this story. And if you are not careful, you could get caught on the wrong side of the tracks. Now look, prediction markets, they aren't going anywhere. I mean, I've already shown you what a massively disruptive force that they continue to be. And as with any disruption, there's going to be a lot of sore losers, right? The American Gaming Association sent a letter to Congress trying to take down prediction markets, followed by a flurry of lawsuits. But these suits, they're falling as fast as they come up. And on April 7th, the federal court ruled that New Jersey cannot regulate Kalshi's sports event contracts because the CFTC has exclusive jurisdiction. Cases in Arizona were permanently blocked by a federal judge. Now, the recent federal ruling in New Jersey wrote that the contracts offered on these markets are financial instruments that come under CFTC jurisdiction. But prediction markets, they aren't just winning lawsuits. The federal government stepped in to countersue Wisconsin for trying to illegally shut down prediction markets. Now, the message here is pretty clear. No matter what you think of it, this new market, prediction markets, they're here to stay for the long haul. Any industry that prediction markets disrupt is in for a reckoning. Now, I've already mentioned the gambling companies and the $42 trillion insurance market, but it's much more widespread than that. And prediction markets are starting to take over for even news sources. I mean, Fox Media is integrating prediction markets into its broadcast. CNN, CNBC, even Time Magazine are all making deals to do the exact same thing. Even Bloomberg, the biggest financial media outlet out there, is integrating prediction markets data into its famous terminals. Luana Lopez Lara, the world's youngest female self-made billionaire, says she gets all her news from Kalshi. Pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly has used prediction markets to predict which drugs would be accepted by the FDA with a 100% success rate. Forbes reported the cost of developing a new drug was $5 billion. Now imagine the savings a drug company has when they don't waste time on drugs that simply were never going to work. That's another $1.7 trillion industry that could be completely disrupted by prediction markets. I mean, chances are, if you're an investor, there's a company in your portfolio right now that stands to see big losses as prediction markets rocket into the mainstream. And that's why I put together another report showing you exactly which stocks to steer clear of. Now, folks, with Goldman Sachs about to unleash a torrent of Wall Street wealth and set off a true boom in prediction markets, I want to send you a copy of this new report, Bad Beats, 7 companies to avoid in the age of prediction markets, as well as a copy of 10x profits in the world's fastest growing market. And not only that, but I want to send you a whole series of extra bonuses that I think could set you up to make a lot of money very quickly in 2026, including my research on 2 more stocks I'm expecting to play a big role in this story. Now, of course, the question out there is, how do you access these reports? Well, the answer there is that you're going to receive it all when you become a member of my flagship research service, Innovation Investor. Now, at this point, I'd like to say, even if you've tried other investment research before, I promise, you have never tried anything like this. You see, Innovation Investor is designed to get everyday people like yourself in on the ground floor of the biggest technology stories in the stock market today. Now, put simply, I leverage my network of Silicon Valley connections and scour the world to uncover the biggest wealth building opportunities out there. I mean, I'm looking for stories that could deliver long-term gains as big technology megatrends unfold with the potential to triple, quadruple, even 10x your money or more. And as you've seen today, I'm pretty good at what I do. I mean, across the years and across my various research services, I found over 40 opportunities to 10x your money or more. Take a look for yourself. Now, these are gains that real folks like you had the chance to see in their brokerage accounts. And that's why my readers, they regularly write in to tell me about their success. Now, one of my followers, a gentleman named Rob Dem, recently wrote in to tell me, just wanted to give a shout out to you for all your recommendations. They have been incredibly successful. Today alone, made $100,000. Another one of my readers, Mike L., recorded me a 22-minute video telling me about his success. Now, of course, I'm not going to make you watch all of it, but here's a brief clip of what Mike had to say.
When I think about the insights that Luke gives me, and I know we talked about this a little bit last time, but this guy is on top of everything. He's on top of AI. He's on top of technology. He's on top of semiconductors, software, EVs, the network effect, storage, scalability, every dimension you could think of in the planet that's on the leading edge of technology-related things, he is totally on top of, and he comes on as this humble guy, and he says, I'm the analyst and investor. Well, excuse me, you are a lot more than an analyst. You are a god. To me, you're just not an analyst, but I hang on his every word.
So folks, you could be the next person writing in to tell me about their success. And I've learned from experience that nothing builds wealth as quickly as positioning yourself in the key players in a fast-moving investing trend right before the smart money moves in. I mean, think back to the early days of the cryptocurrency boom. I'm talking back in 2016, 2017. This whole new type of investing, it burst onto the scene, bringing vast amounts of capital into the financial technology world. I was there, in the trenches. Shopify soared as high as 1,700% after I recommended it in 2017. I recommended PayPal, giving my followers the chance to make as much as 465%. And in April 2016, our team called the key player in this revolution Ethereum at $9, which could have made you as much as a 31,223% return. Now that turns every $1,000 into more than $300,000. In other words, I beat the smart money into a fast-growing trend like this before and done it for massive gains. And now, prediction markets are the fastest-growing money-making trend in the world. And I expect the gains this time around to be even bigger. And that's why you should buy my latest 10x target. Now, it's the stock in the report that I prepared for you, but here's the thing. Prediction markets, it might be the fastest growing trend right now, but I guarantee you they aren't the only opportunity investors have to make a lot of money in the markets today. You see, right now we're looking at massive opportunities across multiple verticals: AI, next generation energy, biotech, longevity, supercomputing, quantum computing, and every other cutting edge breakthrough that is seeing a flood of institutional money coming into it right now. Any one of these trends comes with the potential to absolutely transform your portfolio. Because with the rise of AI, technological progress, you probably feel it, is moving forward at this exponential rate. Everything is changing, including the markets. The old Buffett style of investing, where you pick a few good stocks and wait decades for 1,000% return, that just doesn't apply to today's markets. Moves like these, 1,000% moves, they're happening all the time at lightning speed. I mean, just imagine if you'd put $1,000 into my recommendation of quantum computing stock IonQ back in 2023. Well, since then, that stock has soared high enough to turn that $1,000 into $16,000 in just a few years. Well, let's say you put just $5,000 in our recommendation of Blink charging. You could have seen as much as $146,950 in just over a year. That's a 20-fold increase in the blink of an eye as far as investing is concerned. No pun intended there. Let's say you put that same $5,000 into AMD back in 2015 when I recommended it. If you held on to today, it would have 10x your money not once, but twice, 2 times over for a 27,000% return on your investment, turning that $5,000, folks, into nearly $1.4 million, or 270 times your original investment in just about 10 years. I mean, how would an investment like that change your financial life? How would your retirement look with over $1 million added to your nest egg? This is the speed that markets are moving. And right now, prediction markets, they're the fastest moving ship in a sea of fast moving ships. They're moving faster than anything out there. Now keep in mind, these are maximum gains from some of my best picks. You have to remember that all investments obviously carry some degree of risk, and past performance is definitely no guarantee for future success. But uncovering stories like these, like prediction markets, like AI, like quantum computing, that's the core mission of what we do at Innovation Investor. The goal is to identify innovative companies with hyperscalable business models and unstoppable megatrends. You put those three together and you give yourself the chance to get in early before the companies you read about here are plastered all over the likes of Forbes, Bloomberg, and the New York Times, and you can get massive returns from that. And guess what? We have an incredible track record of doing just that. I mean, the average return of every recommendation we've ever issued, average, is 138%. On average, folks, you could have more than doubled your money with every play we've ever suggested. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's an impressive number, but it's one that I expect will keep rising as prediction markets flourish and give our members the opportunity to rise to the top. I mean, the opportunity I'm sharing today is a great example of a story that the rest of the market just hasn't quite figured out yet. Because right now, almost everyone thinks of prediction markets as just another way to gamble. But as you now know, the story is far, far larger than that, with the potential to be much, much more lucrative. And that's why, in just a minute, I'm going to show you how to invest in the infrastructure that's going to support these markets as they grow as large as $1 trillion or $5 trillion, even $10 trillion and beyond. Because that's my mission, to show you how to make money in America's fastest growing financial trend without guessing, without gambling, and how to be one of the first to do so. So here's how it works. Every single day that the market's open, I'm going to send you a full issue of Innovation Investor. Now, if you're not at all familiar with traditional financial research, you might think that I just misspoke, because normally a research service is going to send you a recap at the end of the month, a monthly issue. But that old model, that doesn't cut it for today's market. It's not how we do things, because things today, again, they're moving too fast for a monthly update. If stocks are flying up 100% in a week, it doesn't do you much good to hear about it at the end of a darn month after the price has already moved a whole bunch. That's why I put an enormous amount of time, an enormous amount of energy researching and writing my daily notes. In every daily issue, I'm going to explain to you pretty much everything. There's going to be my market notes where I dive deep to find the stories that aren't being shared widely in the mainstream news. I'm going to uncover confidential IPO filings for you. I'm going to get to the meat of financial reports so you don't have to dig through pages of documents to find the few numbers that actually matter for you and your stocks. And I give you my insights into how it all works together. Whether I see a great stock at a screaming discount or emerging caution when it's simply not the right time to buy. In short, I'm going to bring you a one-stop shop every single day for the information that really matters to the markets. You'll never be left flying blind. And lastly, in those daily notes, I'm going to share my portfolio notes, which cover our current model portfolio, including an up-to-date buy up to price every day of the week, so you know exactly when to buy the dip and get updates on every single position when relevant news hits. You see, folks, early in my life, as an athlete, I learned that I couldn't make myself the tallest player on the field. Wasn't going to happen. Couldn't make myself the fastest runner. Couldn't make myself the most naturally gifted. Didn't get that DNA. Didn't get those genetics. But what I could do was make myself the hardest darned worker out there. I would wake up early in the morning. I would go to the local community college. I would shoot hoops for hours before school. Hours, 1,000 shots every single day. That persistence paid off. Got a 5'11" kid that can barely jump over a credit card into Caltech to play basketball, starting point guard freshman year. I bring this same work ethic to delivering my members what I believe to be the highest quality, most comprehensive research in the market every single day. Every day the market's open, we're there for you. All in all, I bring you more quality information daily than most of my competitors are going to give you in a month. Full stop. So that you can stay ahead of the curve on every early stage opportunity on the horizon. But I also don't stop there, because in these markets, I understand that even daily news isn't enough to capture all the fast-moving opportunities that come our way. And that's why I also send out real-time trade alerts, so you'll never be left wondering when to buy a stock, when to sell a stock, when to capture some profits. Now, here's a recent one I just sent out to our subscribers, mocking in 90% profits, 60% profits, 465% profits. And that's just the start of what's waiting for you on the inside. Now, another way I try to go above and beyond for my readers is with special situation video briefings. Now, sometimes a situation or opportunity in the markets is so sudden and so fast moving that I can't take the time to type and edit a message. And when that happens, you know what I do? Turn on the camera, hop on video. You see, many financial researchers, they're uncomfortable speaking on video or without a script. But as you can see, that's not the case for me. I do whatever it takes to get the latest developments out to you quickly while there's still time to act on it. When one of our stocks jumps 50%, 100% higher, as I'm fully expecting them to do as the smart money pours into the prediction markets, I'll be in touch by email right away with any action that you need to take. So folks, for the moment you join, you're always going to have a clear roadmap to follow. You will never be left flying blind with me. And not only that, but I'll regularly update you on other parts of the market, like the latest Fed meeting, any big announcements I hear about, big economic reports, inflation reports, developments in the Middle East, whatever it is, you're going to have information on it if it impacts you and your money. Now remember, when you sign up for Innovation Investor right now, you're also going to get my brand new reports, 10x profits in the world's fastest growing market, and Bad Beat, 7 companies to avoid in the age of prediction markets. But as I said, there are some more opportunities that I want to share with you. Now, the first report is called Side Bets, Big Profits from Small Players. And in this report, you're going to discover the name of 2 stocks that I think are going to capture a portion of the prediction markets for themselves and see huge gains as a result. And no, we're not talking about Kalshi, I'm not talking about Polymarket. Now, one of these owns the settlement structure for Polymarket. Essentially, this company owns the rails that every single Polymarket trade rides on. The company's great because it doesn't need to win the prediction market war to win big. It just needs to provide the plumbing. Now, the other stock you're going to find in this report is a sleeper play. It almost never comes up in discussions of prediction markets, but it's quietly rolling them out to its 5 million members, making prediction market contracts available right inside their brokerage accounts. But here's the big part of this play. Institutional clients make up the bulk of this enormous user base, meaning as institutional money rolls into prediction markets, the path of least resistance will be this one often overlooked company. And once this reality hits their balance sheets, I expect the stock to soar. But there's still time for you to get in. And that's why I want to rush you a copy of this report, Side Bets, Big Profits from Small Players. Now, each of these companies represents an incredible, overlooked opportunity for wealth building in the months ahead. But again, that's not all. Because the moment you sign up, you're also going to get my VC Insiders Millionaire Playbook. Now, this is your special members only guide. Now, read it right away before you read anything else, because in it, you're going to learn all about me. You're going to learn about my network of contacts in the venture capital world and several key advanced strategies that we use to uncover the superstar stocks of tomorrow. You're going to get access to a password-protected private website that gives you complete access to every trade recommendation, every research report, all my investment videos, all my research, all my interviews with some of the most well-known insiders in the startup world. So to recap, when you get started today, you're going to get those daily issues of Innovation Investor. That's Monday through Friday. Every day the markets are open, packed with the most cutting-edge tech opportunities in the world. You're also going to get immediate access to my entire model portfolio filled with actionable opportunities that you can move on right away. With the speed that things are moving, I find incredible new stocks to add to it just about every month. Plus, of course, you're going to get those big special reports, those brand new special reports, 10x profits in the world's fastest growing market, bad beat, 7 companies to avoid in the age of prediction markets, side bets, big profits from small players, and my VC Insiders Millionaire Playbook. Now, folks, please keep in mind, these reports, they're not for sale anywhere at any price. You can only get them right here. So naturally, the question now is, how much does a subscription to Innovation Investor cost? Well, think about some of the stock recommendations that I've shared with my readers in recent times. I mean, in a few years alone, I've recommended 23 different opportunities that have soared from 100% to over 1,000%. Considering that success, the full annual price for my research, it's usually $399. But today, you can get started for a huge discount. And please keep in mind, you might have to pay a higher price down the road if you wait. That's just a reality, but I don't want to scare you into buying now. I want you to make sure that this fast-paced research is right for you in your life. And that's why I'm offering you an ironclad guarantee. Try out Innovation Investor for yourself today. Read all your free reports. Dive into my research for the next 90 days and see if it works for you. Because if it doesn't, no problem. Simply cancel your subscription online or over the phone in the next 90 days, and you're going to get a full refund for your subscription fee. Just click the Get Started Now button on your screen to continue. That's going to take you to a secure order form where you can review everything you're going to get today. And as soon as you subscribe, you're going to get access to all of our critical research reports, everything that I've described here, in a matter of minutes. Now look, just think about the opportunity on the table today. Prediction markets are the fastest growing money-making trend in the world right now. Faster than crypto, even faster than AI. And they are not going away. The president himself is on their side. And already they're making regular, everyday people richer than they ever thought possible. But now, there's a way to get in without guessing, without gambling on these random events. Remember, we aren't aiming to play the markets here, but to profit from the people who are playing them. Because when Goldman Sachs opens a trading desk, when your neighbors start talking about prediction markets like they talk about Bitcoin, like they talk about NVIDIA as the one that got away, when you see prediction contracts alongside stocks and ETFs on CNBC and the Wall Street Journal, which I believe will happen sooner rather than later, it'll be too late to get in at today's prices. Now look, the people who got into Bitcoin early didn't need to already be rich. A few $100s was enough to change their financial lives forever. Same with NVIDIA. Same with Tesla. And today you have that same chance. And believe me, this is the fastest, the biggest story in the market today. And we may never, ever see anything like this again. And if you miss out, I think you're going to look back and regret it. I mean, I know I would. So do yourself a favor. Just click the Get Started Now button below this video right away. You're going to be taken to a secure order form where you can start your subscription. And please, whatever you do, just don't delay. Don't say, I'll come back to this in a week. Don't risk being late, because this is the opportunity that you've been waiting for. Don't let it slip away. Folks, thank you for your time. I'm Luke Lango.